Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast. How is everybody doing out there? I am Brandon Alvarado, the Scarlet Fan here, and I am excited to be here with you guys tonight and today, wherever it is, early or whatever time you're seeing or watching this pod, to talk awesome anime with you guys. I hope everyone's having a great time today, and I'm really excited, and I appreciate those that are logging in to stream and join us with the conversation as we cover today's anime topic. And as usual, I don't talk by myself. I always bring with me a friend, a companion, dare I say, a partner in crime solving? Isaac Wolf. What is up, dude?
Well, I don't know. I already raised your sanity, at least.
Really? That's the best you could come up with. I come up with this brilliant intro giving you, and all you say is that you've possibly erased my sanity. That's all you got?
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Better
I'm
than
not.
nothing.
I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. Isaac, we're here. We're live. We're back at the Amateur Otaku. Thank you guys for joining us. We have another great anime topic for you guys tonight. And for those that joined us earlier today, thank you for joining us. We had our bi-weekly Promised Neverland coverage episode earlier today. And a couple of people tuned in and listened to our thoughts on episodes 3 and 4 of the Promised Neverland. The actual video version of that will go live later this week. And now we're back tonight to have our usual episode where we cover a brand new show for you guys. And I personally am really excited of the show that we're going to talk about today. Isaac, are you excited about talking anime tonight again? Isaac,
Oh, I was muted.
have you?
Sorry.
For a minute there,
Sorry.
I thought you were erased.
Sorry. No. Well done. No.
Thank you.
I'm always ready.
That was not
I'm
planned,
always
ladies and
ready.
gentlemen.
This is there is a reason why I'm up late at night all the time.
Because you're what? I don't know what's going on now. But yes, so you're excited.
Late up at night to talk anime.
That is the one thing that keeps you going. It's better than coffee, Isaac. Talking anime is better than coffee, better than tea. Is there anything else that it's better than?
No comment.
No. Wow. So yes, we're very excited to be here today. If you guys like what we do here at the Amateur Otaku Podcast, please feel free to subscribe and press on that like button and share with your friends. Also, click on the bell for notifications if you're on YouTube so you don't miss any stream, any coverage, any episodes, and you don't miss any reviews that we do on Attack on Titan and Promised Neverland. Also, if you have any animes that you guys want us to cover, please make sure to shoot us a comment, shoot us a DM at Twitter at Amateur Otaku Pod, or shoot us an email at Amateur Otaku Pod, Amateur Otaku RTF at gmail.com. So feel free to send us your recommendations. We will definitely take them into consideration, and we're going to include them into our list of anime to cover. One of our listeners for previous episodes, I think it was on the Demon Slayer episode. His name is JJM, if I'm not mistaken. He actually subscribed to the channel and recommended a bunch of different animes, and we're going to take one of his recommendations. JJM recommended Vinland Saga to us, which is a show that I know that Isaac had mentioned before that I should check out. We found a way to see it because apparently Vinland Saga is not available in Scandinavia, in Isaac's side of the world, but we found a way where we both can stream it, we both can watch it. And don't worry, it's legal, I promise. We can both watch the show. It's going to take us some time to be able to cover the first season, but don't worry, JJ. We're going to watch the entire first season of Vinland Saga, and we're going to cover it on the show. And we're giving you the shout out now because we appreciate your recommendations. And if you guys are out there and you guys know of any animes that we should cover, feel free to send us your recommendations. If you recommend an anime show to us, we will take the time to cover it and give you a shout out and give you our thoughts on it. But without further ado, Isaac, I'm ready to talk Erased, which is the anime that we're going to cover. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
For a minute there, I thought you were erased again. You're disappearing a lot from here. You know that's not the point of the show.
I,
That's the point of the
no,
show.
no. I just wanted to mute in case I just hit something and didn't want to dismiss the audio quality. That's all.
Look at you being.
Let's go.
Look at you being. Look at you being extra considerate with the universe. Look at you. But yes, let's go ahead and start. So, I don't have a what was it?
Let's start.
Yes. So I don't have a very fancy summary today, but I do have our good friends at Wikipedia that actually did a very nice summary of what the show is about, and I'm going to be reading that from there. So kudos to those that deserve the kudos. But before we start, Isaac, what is your experience with this anime? I believe this is you mentioned to me before off the air that this is the second time you've seen it.
Yeah, like many other show, it was just a show that I just scrolled by, saw, and just looks interesting. Binge watch.
Yeah. It's one of those shows, I'm not going to lie, I binged it in one day. It's similar to Beastars. It's a good enough show that it hooks you, I think, because for being a mystery show, the mystery is interesting enough that you want to keep watching. You know what I mean? Which, of course, is the key of a mystery show. If you don't watch, if you try to say that you're watching a mystery show, but you're bored and not into it, then it's not a very good mystery show because the idea is that it keeps you hooked enough that you want to watch the next episode. You want to know how the mystery is resolved, unveiled. And of course, it has this kind of thriller, kind of detective sleuth like element to it also, especially towards the end of the show that I think makes it a very good watch. And also, it's an easy show to watch too. Like it's 12 episodes long. They're only 27 to 25-minute episodes. I think the pacing of it is one of the things that helps it a lot because they don't linger too much on unnecessary information. It's like they show up to work, they do what they need to do, and they walk out. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it does what it needs to do, whether you like the story or whether you disagree with the ending or stuff like that. Those are things besides the point because I think, in my opinion, at least, I would like to hear your thoughts. The execution is pretty solid for the type of show that it is. What do you think?
One of the things that I have heard about this show is that the ending make it or break it sort of stuff. And rewatching it again, I'm just thinking the reason for that, it's quite silly if my gut feeling is right.
You mean the reason why some people say it's a make it or break it end, you mean?
Yeah. I won't go into why because it's spoiler territory.
Right.
But you could argue that the villain's motivation and all was a bit rushed. That I can see, but that's not the main thing that I think people. It just broke for some people.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things that the show explore very well, and when we get to spoiler territory, we can debate. We can have that debate, which leads me to this announcement that I'm going to make. We're going to do something different with Erased. Because of the nature of the show, because it's a mystery thriller element, and because the show is so short, we're actually going to divide tonight's episode in two sections. We're going to start with a spoiler-free discussion, talking about the nature of the show, the characters, and the kind of information that you would need from a review so that you can decide whether or not you want to go and jump in to watch this show on Netflix, because of course it's available on Netflix. So it's pretty much available worldwide on Netflix. So you can go check it out. So we're going to give you all things that we think are pertinent that we can give you to maybe get you excited for the show. We're going to do that in our spoiler-free discussion. After that, we're going to dismiss everybody that's listening that does not want to hear spoilers, because then the second half of the show is going to be a spoiler heavy dissection of the show, where we're going to analyze and talk about the show, things that we thought, design choices and stuff like that. And we're also going to talk about the ending and talk about the show and different adaptations. So feel free to know where we're located. Don't worry, I have some nice little banners that I'm going to put on there, so you know whether we're doing the spoiler-free section, depending on when you come into the stream, or if we're doing the spoiler-heavy section. We're going to make sure that you know where we're at, so you can follow us throughout the process. So Isaac, I'm going to read the quick summary that I have from our friends here at Wikipedia, and then we're going to start our spoiler-free discussion. You ready?
Ready.
So here is the story. So Erased follows Satoru Fujinuma, a young man living in Chiba who somehow possesses an ability known as revival that sends him back in time moments before a life-threatening incident, enabling him to prevent it from happening again. When his mother is murdered by an unknown assailant in his own home, Satoru's ability suddenly sends him back 18 years into the past. Now, an elementary schooler in Hokkaido again, Satoru is given the opportunity to not only save his mother, but also prevent a kidnapping incident that took the lives of three of his childhood friends, 2 classmates and 1 young girl studying at a different school nearby. Everything that he does to save these people and also save his mother in the future is what fuels Satoru's mission of becoming a better person, but also helping those that he failed to help in the past. This is Erased. It is based on a manga by Kei Sanbe, I think is the name. It's based on a manga by Kei Sanbe. The show was directed by Tomohiko Itō, and it was produced by Studio A1 Pictures.
Of course, it was A1 Pictures. They are pretty much everywhere.
They are in a lot of places. They are in a lot of places. I mean, if we were to take into consideration only some of the projects that they did, and let's see, they did a Persona movie.
What's up, Leo?
They did a Persona movie a long time ago. They did Fairy Tail, of course. Anohana, the flower we saw that day, which we've covered here. Sword Art Online, which you love. Your Lie in April, 7 Deadly Sins. I mean, they've done so much stuff. But yeah, they're the studio, A1 Pictures, the studio behind this nice, awesome thriller. Let me see. You said Leo was somewhere around here?
Yeah.
Geekly Goods. Leo, what's up, man? Thank you for joining us, dude. That is awesome. That is awesome. So let's start a spoiler-free discussion of Erased. So as you guys...
I apologize, Leo. We didn't knew you had watched it.
Oh, Leo, we shout it out, bro. We shout it out. We'll let you know. Don't worry, we'll give you a link to the describe. But yes, Leo's a little upset because apparently he didn't get the invite where Kame got killed. Don't worry, bro. There's more anime in the future that you're gonna join us in. Trust me, that's gonna happen. But yes, so we're gonna start a conversation of Erased. So this show, Isaac, you've seen it twice.
Yeah.
Talk to me. What do you like about the show? What are the things that stood out to you? Was it the characters? Was it the dynamic, the mechanic? I mean, if you were to recommend me this show.
The characters and the dynamic. How should I put it? The story is rather simplistic, even with the whole going back into the past and all that, yes. That's
right.
Essentially nothing new. So that's so what I argue is that what makes it and break it the story is his the character's journey and this sort of like their camaraderie with each other, their growth, how he changed when he go back in time thanks to his ability.
Mm-hmm.
I would because it just sure the mystery was part of this story, but I would argue that the but that was just a MacGuffin to see how they go forward. Just how should in Final Fantasy 15 how the big deal is about how there's a war and all, and yada yada yada, the whole thing. I would only say I would say that why that is the MacGuffin, so to speak. The big thing about that game is the camaraderie between the friends, and it's sort of like the same here. The murder mystery is there to evolve the friendship and the characters instead.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
100%. I think there's a lot of truth in what you're saying, especially because when we find Satoru for the first time, it's funny. He's having a meeting with his boss. And so he's a manga artist, right? He's a mangaka, and he's trying to have a good career as a manga creator, writer, drawer, right? And he's having a review with his manager, and he's pretty much telling him that for some reason I can't connect with the characters. Like, you need to dig deep into you so that people can see you in your writing, so people can see you in your book. And we're talking, and this is a character that kind of is disconnected with himself, detached from others. So he's like missing something, and he doesn't know what he's missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about the story, that even though it's wrapped in tragedy and through difficult situations that normally a kid should not have to go through, it is his desire to be better, is his taking advantage of an opportunity to be better or to do what's right once more, that allows him to unlock whatever was locked up inside. It's able to allow him to grow up from that moment, because one of the things that to me stands out in the show is that you literally go back. So he learns that he kind of learns about an incident that happened in his youth that he forgot about, right? That apparently some kids were kidnapped and murdered and stuff like that. And like his parents and all the adults around him kind of like hid him from that truth. And it's like from that moment where he was quote unquote protected from the truth, it's like he kind of stopped growing as a person. You know what I mean? And the fact that he's able to go back, the fact that he's able to go back, it's like wow, that's how it allows him to grow. Being able to go back to the past and confront those things. Those are the things that allowed him to become a complete person, or a better person. And yes, Leo, it's as good as it sounds. It's actually that good, because like Isaac clearly stated, what makes this show shine is that it uses the mystery or you. Who's Uryu? I feel like I'm going. Who's Uryu? Please, someone kick me out of the head. For some reason, I forgot who Uryu is. I know Lita.
Bleach.
Oh, and the way he looks. Yes, yes. Not as much as the attitude because he's not a cocky. No, see, he looks like Lita and he looks like Uryu, but he's pretty much different. I think he's more. I think he comes off more as a. He comes more as a depressed Ichigo. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't go so far to say depressed, but
well, in the way that he's like detached from everything, like he does the right thing whenever he needs to, but he's like, you know how Ichigo tends to be like larger than life.
yeah,
Like so Toru is the complete opposite. He's like so quiet and like, especially when you first meet him, he's like a cloud is over him, even though he wants to do the right thing whenever the revival thing happens. Like you see it in multiple moments. Kind of. He kind of can be, at least in the beginning. But that's the cool thing about the show because if you're looking for a show that dramatically develops the main character to the point where his first appearance is completely different than his last appearance, this is that kind of show because he grows exponentially throughout every episode, and he kind of like connects with everything that he couldn't connect before. I mean, and apart from that, the mystery is interesting because yes, he has. Go ahead.
To ask Leo's question, imagine someone that trying to doesn't know what trying to have had a hard time in suppress something back in the day, and he doesn't have any memory of why, and this journey why he trying to solve this mystery, he ends up finding that just no pun intended, erasing that aspect for him because he gets the possibility to erase the event that imagine if you're in love with someone, that one said no, and you get the biggest rejecter. Kinda. You know how.
See, that's not the.
You mean he had a trauma that made him sort of like reptile brain, just tried to forget, forced him to forget. But the more he read upon it, experienced, or the more it opened up. I can speak it from personal experience. From my, I have stuff that
Exactly.
Kinda.
Exactly, Leo. That's kind of, and the idea is that the way you see him as someone that kind of stopped growing in certain parts of his life. You know how some people become amazing adults, but they don't know how to feel emotions. You know what I mean? Like their emotions just stop growing at some point because something put a wall in their development because of whatever happened. And I think that's why the show is so smart because the dynamic of revival, which is what he calls his ability, is that he spontaneously is able to travel back in time to prevent tragedies from happening. Like in the first episode, you see it happen at least twice, where he prevents two bad things from happening, because he literally travels back in time like a minute or so before it happens, and he's given the opportunity by the universe, right, to take action. And the cool thing about it is that whenever this happens, it's like a reel from a movie. It has a lot of imagery. Like whenever the powers occur, everything looks like an actual film, like old-fashioned movie film. And it's actually pretty cool, the visuals that they use, especially when they're comparing different timelines and stuff like that. This show is very creative in the way they illustrate that as a film. And the funny thing is, it kind of goes also with the way that he sees the world, because he wants to be a manga creator, so he sees everything with panels, which we could translate to the film design and stuff like that. But the whole thing actually becomes even more powerful, especially when you're talking about block trauma and stuff like that, because whenever the murder occurs of his mother, which is like the peak of the pilot, and that's not a spoiler because that's just part of this of the explanation. Whenever that happens, it triggers a revival episode where he travels back in time, but he's taking back 18 years into the past. So now he's back to being a kid. And it's so smart because he goes back to the age where the trauma that blocked his growth occurred. And from there, and
What?
yes, it's not a spoil. It's not a spoil. It's not a spoil. It's part of the pilot, and it was in the description that I gave. Yes, there's other spoilers which we're going to enter in the future, so don't worry. We'll let you know when to leave. But when he goes back in the past as a kid, he kind of goes back to the age where his growth stopped. And from there, he's able to make different choices because he's going back with the same mind that he had. And it kind of plays around with him making different choices and kind of finding himself feeling things as a kid that he never allowed himself to feel, or that he forgot that he felt. And it's kind of like a rediscovery. And from there is this journey that he has, and how he reconnects with his friends, and how that affects the future. It's like Isak clearly stated. It is a show about connections and emotional growth hidden in a mystery thriller, which is, of course, is what you want in a great anime. It has great character development, and I think also it plays to the idea that there's a villain in the show, to me, is kind of I don't want to say pointless, but it's kind of ooh, I've never read it. That sounds interesting. Awesome. Thanks for the recommendation, Leo. Anatomy of Story. I got to look it up. Thank you. I think
You
the
should
way
read.
that
You should read that one. You should read that suggestion out loud. It's gonna be a podcast, also. Remember?
yes, you're right. So thank you for the reminder, Isaac. You're totally right. So Leo just suggested a book, and the book's name is The Anatomy of Story. Leo wrote. Have you guys ever read the book The Anatomy of Story? I feel you would both like that. Dives into master storytelling. We're gonna look into it, Leo. Thank you for the recommendation, and thank you, Isaac, for remembering our podcast followers. So the idea of this show being about connections, it is very, very cool, very, very interesting.
You say that
Oh
a villain.
my goodness. We have a lot of people joining in. What is up, Mr. Bellman? The new
And what's
editor
up?
of Bamba Rock Entertainment.
And
And we
what's up,
got,
Mike?
what's up, Michael Thomas? He brings in the mist. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't feel jealous, Bellman. This is awesome.
Because you talked about how it was gonna be pointless for a villain. And
Yeah. So here's what I mean.
before you say anything, I will
Mhm.
just say this. I can imagine, considering it's about connection, you would think that they want to do as much focus on that. But remember, it's supposed to be a murder mystery. You can't
And
just
here's
skip over. You can't just skip over. Imagine how anticlimactic it would have been if they never caught that bad guy. It's sort of like, how should I put it? It's how should I put it? It's kind of like how if the it kids finds out about the clown and doesn't discuss if manage to sing someone that they know is going to be victim of that clown, but it doesn't stop that clown when they know he exists.
Yes. Now, here's what I mean by my comment. Yes, like any other murder mystery, catching the bad guy is part of the mystery, right? You can't close the mystery loop without catching the bad guy. And I don't disagree with that. What I mean is that the idea of the murderer is used as a means of driving the development of the character as opposed to a simple means to an end. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
because by the end of the show, the climax, the final hurrah from the hero is not entirely that he beat the villain, is the fact that he's grown as much as he's grown, that he's learned to value all these relationships, that he's seen the good that he's been able to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to me, it's like that's where the show kind of does like a bait and switch in the sense that yes, it guides you to the mystery. You want to know who did the murders, who kidnapped the girls. You want to know all that, but then you get involved so much in the drama, in everything that he's feeling, experimenting, everything he's doing to take care of his friends, how close he gets with his friends and helping the other girls in Kayo and all that stuff. Like you get so involved in that by the time you get to the end, even the way the show ends, like if you think about it,
You would so. What you're saying is that it felt like the story remembers. Oh, it's also about a murder mystery. I need to reveal the villain. Is that what you mean?
no. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that all that, to some degree, in terms of importance and priority, kind of falls into second place because
Yeah,
because of that is, but not saying that it's not important, but the
that's
biggest
essentially what I mean, because that's an example. That's a classic example of us of someone. Yes. Oh, I forgot that we have this subplot. I must solve it like this. Just make something
that's
up.
that right. Not that careless though, because the
I'm
story
not
does take.
saying it's that careless, but your comment makes it feel like the situation feels like that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, if it sounds like that, is not my intention. I think what happens is, like, most of the times, like, for example, when you see a movie like, and this is gonna sound like really crazy, but have you seen the movie The Bone Collector with Denzel Washington?
Nope.
Um, have you seen Silence of the Lambs?
Ages ago, but yes.
But you know, like the whole movie, what drives that film is finding that killer. And like the relationship of Clarice and Hannibal Lecter is like in the background, but it's all about finding that killer that's capturing these women and doing these things. And by the time they capture him, yes, you have all those teases of Hannibal getting free, but everything calms down because we've captured the villain. You know what I mean? So what I mean, like, all the intensity builds and everything that he was doing, the villain is very important on the story. But for me, for the type of story that I enjoyed, I love the fact that it chose to not rely on its mystery plot, but also build something else within it to make it even more enjoyable for me. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like
Okay.
it was able to build a great story in so many different levels that it's more than your usual mystery thriller. Like instead of being solely, because anime is known for always, it's at least the best anime. Don't revolve on them being just one thing. They tend to be, they have a variety of characteristics of genres, and I think this one has a lot of great slice of life elements and great mystery elements blended together in a way that if you're looking for a mystery thriller, you'll get a great time. But if you're looking for a slice of life kind of real story, this is that show too. Because even with the fantastical elements of the idea of revival and traveling back in time, it doesn't really take away from the real moments that you get with the characters. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think it does that in a very good way. Like it takes advantage of every opportunity that it gets to be a good show in more than one level. I think that's what I'm trying to say, Isaac. I think I finally nailed it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's taken me 37 minutes to say, but I think that's what I'm trying to say. And I think that's why people should watch Erased, because it's easy to watch. It's only 12 episodes long, and it's on Netflix, so it's readily available. And it has it has a lot mystery thriller elements that will keep you in sync, and has a great slice of life elements if you like to see a great character development. And I don't know why, but this is one of those shows that has so many happy endings that to me feels kind of interesting and dramatic. Now, I want to talk a lot about the idea of the name Erased and the idea behind that, but that takes me into spoiler territory, so I don't want to talk about that just yet. Um, but I enjoyed the show. It's a great show, and like you said, the characters make it happen, and the characters are fantastic. Did you have a favorite character?
Honestly, it's gonna sound maybe gonna sound weird, but it's his mom, because I just find her so hilarious. Just
Yep.
reading his mind constantly, but
No, the
how?
best
How?
thing, the best thing in the world. Well, then again, that actually falls in line with the idea that a mom knows her kid.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not like it's reading his mind, it's the idea that she pays attention. Like she's a real mom. Like she's a mom. Like she pays attention to her kid. And
Yeah, but
actually
she's also they also prove that she's more than she. Let's
well
just say
also
that.
remember well also remember
Let's just say that it shows he knows how to write reporters. Even to some degree, I got some Louis Lane vibes off
well
her.
that's the thing. She used to be a reporter.
Yeah,
So it kind of explains that. Like her job used to be observing people and making these assumptions and making these observations. That's what she used to
yeah,
do.
I know. That's what I'm
So
just saying.
so that's and you know what's funny? Like he doesn't understand. He kind of doesn't make that connection. And I find it so hilarious that whenever she says something that is like it's reading her mind, his response is which. Like every time it happens, it was like my favorite line of the entire show is whenever she said something and it's like which it, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. You know what, man? That's actually not a bad pick. I would definitely she's definitely getting a prize of mother of the century. Like she's like one of my top moms in anime. She's awesome. She's a great
Yeah.
character. And to me, I was gonna say Kenya was one of my favorite characters. Like we all want a friend like Kenya. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I think that Kenya, the way he was portrayed as, he's that friend that is willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, is willing to call out your shit if you're doing something stupid. But he's also willing to believe in you so that you would take a risk. You know what I mean? And the fact that he was also an observer. I mean, he was a super bright kid, but he wasn't cocky,
That's
and he
an
really cared about,
understatement.
yeah, and he really cared about his friends. He cared about Satoru, and I think one of the most powerful moments that I had from him is when he was able to say to Satoru that because of the actions that he has made, that he wanted to be a hero as well. The idea that he would not be envious, but want to be with his friend and do the right thing. That's that's how you know you have a real friend. You know what I mean? And I think he was a great addition to the cast. He was awesome. And it's funny because in the beginning of the show, you kind of get a vibe like he's going to be like a rival of sorts. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like
but
he
rival, I wouldn't say.
well like he's going to be that friend that's kind of like he has Uryu vibes. He does in the beginning. You know what I mean?
Eh,
But when he actually starts talking, you see that he really cares and that he's more human. You know what I mean? Like in the beginning, you kind of see that he's just like this bookworm character that's going to be in the background. But then when he becomes more active and he shows that he cares and he's a real person and a real friend, those kind of things you see, and it's actually pretty cool. So, so yeah, favorite characters: Mom and Kenya. Nice, very very nice. The music of the show is pretty awesome. Like this is one of those shows that the opening song I've been listening to for forever and never bothered to watch the show. And I actually like it. I like a lot of music from Asian Kung Fu generation. They do a lot of Naruto stuff too, so I really like them a lot. The animation is also pretty sweet. I mean, it's an
yeah,
anime from 2016. Like the
it's a
whole,
very simplistic anime, so it's not like
yep.
it's a Naruto, Dragon Ball, Attack on Titan series
Right.
that needs action. So it's
Mhm.
easier to animate, so to speak. I would
Yep.
argue that the most complicated part to animate is when he sort of have his movie reflection with his memory.
Yep. That's the one. That's the one. So guys, I think this is the end of our spoiler free section. What do you think, Isaac?
Yeah,
So guys, thank you for joining us at the Amateur Otaku Podcast. If you want to listen to spoilers and a bit of dissection on Erased, stay tuned because we're going to jump into that section very soon. But if you have not seen this show, go watch it. Hopefully, the discussion that we had has motivated you to go to Netflix and click play on Erased. It's the kind of show that in the first 2 episodes, you'll be hooked. And next thing you know it, you finish the show. It's only 12 episodes long. There's also a live action adaptation of Erased that's on Netflix as well. And I want to say this here. If you guys liked Erased, if you go check it out because of our recommendation, let us know what you think of Erased. We would definitely want to hear your thoughts about it. Also, if you like Erased and you would like us to cover the live action adaptation that Netflix has, let us know in the comments, and Isaac and I will go watch it, and we'll do a bonus video where we'll cover our thoughts on the live action adaptation of Erased. I've seen the first couple of episodes, and it looks pretty decent. It looks pretty good. Um, but we want to be able to cover it if you guys want us to cover it. So let us know what you think. But more importantly, go see Erased on Netflix. You're definitely going to enjoy it. Now, Isaac, where can people find you on the webs if they were looking for you?
you can find me over at Emblemaniac on Twitter. We also have an Instagram called Amateur Otaku, which I'm trying to update slow and steady, wins the race, so to speak. And you can also find my work at Wobem Entertainment.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. And you can find me at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Twitter, at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Instagram. And you can find me at Brennan Alvarado on Facebook. I put up original music, thoughts, ideas, pictures, and great anime stuff. So, guys, thank you for joining us at the Amateur Otaku Podcast. Make sure to hit like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bells for notifications so you don't miss any episodes or streams. And if you love listening to the Amateur Otaku Podcast, go and check it out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Stitcher, wherever podcasts are found. You can find the Amateur Otaku and enjoy it. See you later, guys. Peace.
Peace.